So right now, for any American worker who's nervous about going back, if they want to get tested to see if they've been exposed to the virus, they can have access to both the antibody tests.
No problem.
And
they should have no problem. And as good as this is, we're even getting better. We came up, don't forget, the cupboard was bare. The other administration, the last administration, left us nothing. We didn't have ventilators. We didn't have medical equipment. We didn't have testing. The tests were broken. You saw that. We had broken tests. They left us nothing. And we've taken it and we have built an incredible stockpile, a stockpile like we've never had before.
Many people have heard you say that along the way and have wondered, though, you're 3 years into your first term.
Yeah.
You're now applying for the job again. What did you do when you became president to restock those cupboards that you say were bare?
Well, I'll be honest, I have a lot of things going on. We had a lot of people that refused to allow the country to be successful. They wasted a lot of time on Russia. That turned out to be a total hoax. Then they did Ukraine, and that was a total hoax. Then they impeached the President of the United States for absolutely no reason, and we even had a 197-0 vote by the Republicans.
So for those following along at home, it's Obama's fault, but also impeachment's fault, but also the Russia probe's fault that the president, who went golfing 249 times, didn't have time to restock the national stockpile. Got it. I mean, seriously, this is the guy who claimed ad nauseum that Obama left him empty cupboards, and when pressed on the fact that Obama left office in 2017 and it's currently 2020, his excuse was that he had a lot of things going on. Trump spends more time live tweeting episodes of Sean Hannity and Judge Jeanine than doctors spend in hospitals, but we're supposed to believe that he didn't have time to prepare for the inevitability of a pandemic? After SARS and MERS and Zika and Ebola and H1N1, he really didn't know that another one was possible? And what's worse is that he says this while simultaneously blaming Obama, who isn't even the president. So it's Obama's fault for not restocking the shelves as late as 2019 when the actual president couldn't possibly have done it because he was too busy. Yeah, no, makes total sense. He even blames his own impeachment for somehow not allowing him to restock the national stockpile. But here's the thing, Trump brought the impeachment upon himself. Impeachment was punishment for Trump's willful decision to extort a foreign country for dirt on his opponent and then orchestrate a large-scale cover-up. If you rob a convenience store and then get arrested, you don't get to blame the police for wasting your time by throwing you in jail. That is the direct result. Impeachment is a consequence of his voluntary decision. If Trump breaks the law, he should probably be prepared to spend a little time suffering the consequences of breaking that law. And yet still, Trump wasn't impeached until December of 2019. So even if his impeachment was a valid excuse, it's not, but even if it was, what about the nearly 3 years prior to his impeachment when he could have been stocking the shelves that he claims were bare? It's not that he was too busy or too distracted, it's that he didn't care. It wasn't his priority. In fact, it wasn't his priority so much that not only did he fail to, quote, restock the shelves, but he actively dismantled the defenses that we did have in place. He fired public health experts. He shuttered the Global Health Security Unit at the National Security Council. He proposed cutting funding to the CDC. In 2018, the CDC stopped funding epidemic prevention activities in 39 out of 49 countries, including China, after Trump refused to reallocate money to a program that began as part of the government's response to the Ebola outbreak in 2014. So I get that projection is a staple of this administration, but let's not pretend for a second that Trump was ever interested in building up our defenses when he did more to destroy them than anyone else in the United States. But let's be honest here, this isn't about any good faith justifications, it's about throwing every defense humanly possible against the wall and seeing what sticks. The guy literally says that Obama left him broken tests for a virus that didn't exist until 2019. Tell you what, if Obama managed to leave an unbroken test for a virus that wouldn't come into existence until nearly 3 years after he left office, that would be newsworthy. But absent that, all this is nonsensical ramblings by a guy who physically cannot bring himself to accept responsibility for his own failings. So journalists should continue to press Trump on his confused diatribes and finger pointing, because when he's not rambling on at campaign rallies to crowds of people who would follow him into an active volcano, but instead held to account for the things that come out of his mouth, he only manages to humiliate himself even more. And if that's what he feels the need to do, then who is anyone to stop him?